Hey guys, Katie from the K Show blog here, and today I'm making a quick video on how to catch a train in Italy. But first things first, I'll address the obvious. Yes, I chopped off my hair. What do you think? I kind of like it short. Like, I'm used to having long hair, but short hair is just so much easier to manage and just easier to do. Apart from the fact that my ponytail is so tiny right now, but I kind of like it, but what do you think? Alright, so catching a train in Italy. Now I think this is going to be more helpful for people who live here, who are not Italian, didn't grow up here obviously. Maybe you've just moved here, you want to get out exploring, but the whole idea of going to the train station and catching a train is just a little bit overwhelming. I think this would be really helpful for you. The good news is, it's probably a lot easier than you think. It's fairly straightforward. We're going to get you out there adventuring. I just know what it's like when you're new, and I know that sometimes it's just easier to see things before you go there, and it can take away a little bit of the anxiety of it all. That's why I check menus before I go to a restaurant and things like that. It's just easy to have a little preparation. So hopefully today I'm going to be able to take away a bit of that anxiety for you and get you out exploring. So first things first, you need a ticket, obviously. That's not unique to Italy, but you have a few options on how you get your ticket. So you can buy it online, you can go to one of the self-serve kiosks at the station, or you can go to their staffed booth and talk to a person and buy a ticket that way. Using the staff booth obviously depends on what time you're visiting, whether it's going to be open or not. So that's probably the one I don't use. I don't even know if I've ever used it. If I were you, I would stick to either buying online or the self-service kiosk. They're both really easy, and I'll go through both of those today. If you plan to go on a longer journey between big cities, like if you're going from Vicenza to Rome or something like that, I recommend using the company Italo, or at least checking their website first, because you get all the same services as Trenitalia, like the seats are comfortable, you get Wi-Fi, all that stuff, but the tickets are half the price. So you can save a lot of money doing it that way. The only downside with Italo is that you kind of need to be a little bit prepared and book your tickets in advance if you can, because they are so much cheaper and they run trains less often, so they tend to book up faster. So my first recommendation for longer journeys, check that company first and see what you can get, and then if you can't get anything, move over to Trenitalia. If you're just doing a short journey for a day trip, maybe Vicenza to Venice, Vicenza to Verona, or places like that, just go with Trenitalia straight away, because they're the easiest way to go. My favorite way of getting a ticket is to buy it online beforehand. I just find it so much easier, and if I'm prepared, that's my favorite way to go. That way, when I get to the train station, all I have to do is find the train, go to the platform, and get on. It's hassle-free. Good thing is, buying a ticket online is really easy, so let's go through that now. You will need to turn to the laptop. Let me get set up here. Alrighty, so booking a ticket online is pretty easy. First, you're just going to go to trenitalia.com, that's their website. I'll leave a link below as well to make it easy. And then you just want to go to this top right hand corner over here, and you can change the language to English. So that's going to make it a lot easier. Then, like anything, you're just going to come down to this section. Let me try and zoom in. Like any ticket, where are you going from? Where are you going to? So the only tricky part with where you're going to is that sometimes the stations are listed not the way you would think of it. For example, if we try going to Venice, you can see Venice doesn't exist in their list of options, because that's not what the station is called on their website. So if you know what the station is called, like in Italian on their website, you can just put that in. But if it's your first time and you're not sure, just go to Google Maps and look up Venice train station, for example. And then it will be able to tell you what it's called. You could also look at the Trenitalia route map as well, but Google Maps is usually really helpful. So this one is saying Stazione di Venezia Santa Lucia, right? So that's the one we're going to be looking for. And it's a good idea to also check in case there's a couple of stations with a similar name. Just double check it's in the right area of where you're trying to go. So that's Venice right there. It's where we want to go, and that's the train station that we want. So we're going to look up Venezia now instead of writing Venice, and then you get all these options. And you're just going to pick the Santa Lucia. That's the one that Google Maps told us. You could also, if you really weren't sure and Google Maps wasn't helping, you could also just look Google train station in Venice, like on a regular Google search, and that might help as well. Then you're going to pick the date, time, how many people, all that stuff. And the other thing I want to recommend is make sure in this section here you have all trains ticked. Then you get all the options, the fast trains, the regional trains, and you'll be able to compare everything. And I'll show you why that's important in a second. So then you just hit search. And this is why it's a good idea, I think, to have all the trains selected, because you can compare everything. And there is a bit of an Instagram trend where people come to Italy, they get on a fast train, everyone takes the exact same photo of the screen that shows the speed of the fast train, they caption it, "I'm on the fast train," or something like that, and everyone's doing the exact same thing. So don't get caught up in just doing what everyone's doing for the sake of it. Look at if that fast train is going to be a good option for you. And I'm just like always thinking about budget and value for money, right? So let's look at the options. So let's take a look at this one, right? Take a look at this one. So Vicenza to Venezia, that's where we want to go. 46 minutes. That's how long it's going to take to get there. It's only $6. And this is on a regionale train. So that's just not a fast train. It's a regular train that's not Instagrammable in any way. So then let's look at a fast train. There's one here. You can tell it's a fast train because they have like Freccia at the start. So Freccia Rossa, that's the fast train. So we're going Vicenza, Venezia, 44 minutes. So that fast train is only saving you 2 minutes of time. But look at the price difference, $21. So it's a huge price difference to save 2 minutes and get an Instagram photo. In my opinion, it's not worth it. If you think it's worth it, absolutely go for it. But this is why I check all the trains and compare them and make sure you're going to get a good deal, good bang for your buck. If you're looking though at, let's say, a longer journey, somewhere further away, let's go to Milano. So Milano, and then we'll refresh it. Now look at this. This is where you get a difference and it makes the fast trains a bit more worth it in my opinion, depending on how much time you have and budget also as well. So this one, okay, the second one here, Vicenza to Milano, it's going to take you 2.5 hours and you've got to change trains once. So that's like a long time to go to Milan, a bit of hassle changing trains, but it is only $16, so it's not that bad. That's a pretty cheap trip to Milan. If we want to take this top one, this is the fast train. See, it says Freccia Rossa. It's only going to take 1 hour and 40, so that saves you like just under an hour of time. That's a lot of time to save not having to sit in a train, and you don't have to make any changes. So you just get to sit in the one train, hour and 40, you're there, Milano Centrale. So that's pretty great. It is a lot more expensive though, but it's like these types of trips where I would consider going on the fast train just to save a bit of time and hassle, make it easier. But it really depends on your budget, and I just really recommend having all stations selected so that you can compare things and make sure you're getting a good deal, you're not getting ripped off, because that much money for 2 minutes is a rip-off in my opinion. So let's go back to going to Venice. Oh, that one we just looked at was sold out now. Okay, so let's just, for example's sake, we're going to take the fast train. Like how that one is sold out now, and these are my options. I'm probably going to take the fast train in this case because you've run out of the cheap trains. This cheap train takes 2 hours for a 1 hour trip, so that's just a waste of time in my opinion. And you have to change trains once, so that's a hassle. And it's got a bus in it too, so I would just not go through that. I would probably just bite the bullet and go the fast train on this one. And so then you pick if you want to be really fancy, go in the first class. If you want to just go standard, that's what I would do. Oh, it's going to ask you if you want to upgrade. I do not want to upgrade. And then it's like anything, you're just going to fill in your details. I do go on without login here. So then you can just fill in your details, passenger details. You can just skip all that. That's just add-ons, unless you are like traveling with a dog or something like that. But check those if you need them. And then you just pay with your credit card. It will email you the ticket. You can print it or keep it on your phone, and you're ready to go to the train station. Right, hopefully that made sense. So that's how you get your ticket online before you go to the train station. And now let's look at how to get it from the self-service kiosk at the train station itself. Luckily, I went the other day and I recorded everything so I could show you. Right, so once you get to the kiosk, just click the Union Jack flag to put it in English, and then it's fairly easy to follow. You'll just click buy your ticket and then select the station. If it doesn't come up, just click other stations and manually type it in. Then you just click the time, and it's going to give you a list of options just like on the internet, and you can compare them. Once you know which one you want, click the shopping cart icon on the right hand side for the one you want, and then it'll take you through to the next screen where you pick how many people are going to be on the train. This one's telling me there's a delay. That's no big deal. So you just use the plus and minus to add how many people you're buying tickets for. Go to the next screen. And this screen is the one I always take a photo of this, because in that details section, it has the train number. So take a photo of that with your phone so that once you get your ticket, you can find that train on the screen, because it won't come out on the ticket. Then you just go through the next couple of steps. It's going to remind you to stamp it. We'll go through that in a second. Then you just pay, cash or card, whatever you're doing. And once you've paid, it'll print you out a ticket. After you get it, I just click no release on the screen. That just means you don't want a receipt, but you can also get one if you need. Then you just find one of these green booths and stamp your ticket. Oh, no parlo italiano, sorry.
One calling for the ticket.
And once you've stamped it, it's just going to put the date and time. So now that ticket is validated and you can go and find your train. One thing I will say is some of the more smaller journeys between small towns you get on, like the ghetto type trains, they don't always have announcements at all for which station is coming up. So if I'm going on one of those trains, which isn't that often really, but if I'm going on one of those, I like to use Google Maps sometimes just to keep track of my location if there's no announcements. So then I know when to get prepared to get off the train. Most of the big cities, you're going to be fine. That's really only the really small trains. When you get on the train itself, the one thing I'll mention is that it doesn't seem like it's the Italian way to like see the train filling up, see people looking for seats, and then just move your stuff to make room for people. They'll just kind of leave their stuff there and pretend like they don't see anything. So one thing I'll mention is they'll absolutely move their stuff, but you have to ask them to do it. So it seems like a bit of a weird power play or something. It's not a lot of mateship on the trains in Italy. So if you're looking for seats and you can't find any or something like that, don't be stressed out. It's not like Forrest Gump, you know, can't sit here. It's not like that. They'll absolutely move their stuff. You just have to ask for it. So if you're not sure about language, don't worry, because the social context of that situation doesn't really require a language. You just point at the seat, you can just say scusa, something like that, and more than likely they'll move their stuff if no one's going to be sitting there. So that's about it. I hope if you're new here, that can help give you some confidence to go down to the train station and catch a train and go and see somewhere. I do have a blog post from a while back of public transport friendly day trips from Vicenza, so that might be a starting point if you're not even sure where to go. Go check that out. I'll leave it in a link below, and I'll leave all the links to train companies too. So I hope that can help you. Go out and adventure, explore the towns around you and have fun, and I will see you next time.